No one. Literally no one. Me. All right, I'll do the work in progress tag. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, your girl Laura, and if you're new here, I'm Laura and I write young adult fiction. Today I'm going to be doing the work in progress tag. No one actually tagged me in it. Rude, not even my own brother tagged me in it. But I like doing tags. I want to talk about my book, so I'm just gonna do it anyway. So booey to everyone who did not tag me in theirs. Anyway, I'm going to be doing this work in progress tag. I could not find who originated it. Maybe Jesse Elliott, not sure. I was looking for the questions. It took me for freaking ever to even find them because no one was putting them in the description. So I don't know who started it. If it was you, I'm sorry. Comment down below. I'll give you tons of props in my description. So what is this? This is the work in progress tag. I know a lot of you guys say WIP. I can't stand that. When I hear WIP, I think of two things. I think of Stewie from Family Guy saying whip, and then I think of whip and nay nay. Neither one of those I want to be thinking about. Maybe I'm old, but I always say WIP, okay? But anyway, it's a work in progress tag to talk about my book, Beware of Monsters, that most of you know I am working on. So here are the questions that I got from, thank you, Jessica Froberg. I will link you in the description for actually putting the questions in your video so that I could use them. All right, number one, what is the working title of your book? Beware of Monsters. I say it all the time. I do abbreviate it as BoM in my titles and stuff because I have like a playlist just for videos where I'm dealing with that. So yeah. Beware of Monsters. I don't know. I just come up with titles. They just come to me. I already have the title for the next book I want to write. I mean, they're working titles, of course, but you know, I don't know. A lot of people struggle with them. I don't. Naming things is never really a struggle for me. Number two, where did the idea come from for your book? So it came from a news story. I mean, I don't want to bore you with the details, but when I was in graduate school, my main area of concentration was trauma studies, and I am particularly interested in the ways in which trauma is dealt with afterwards. And what I studied in grad school was the way in which trauma is overcome and worked through literature, fiction, and like music and things like that. So naturally, when I went to go write a book, I wanted to do the very thing that I was studying. So my book is about someone who went through a traumatic event. It was a traumatic event that I saw. It was a news story. You'll know more when I get more done. I don't want to give too much away too early. I was really inspired by that, and it's just inspired by that. Like, I totally went a different direction with a lot of the details of the story, but I just remember watching it and thinking, like, how is this person going to like endure this? Like, how are they going to live the rest of their life? What is the rest of their life going to look like now? I'm fascinated by the ways in which people work through their trauma and make sense of their trauma. And so I wanted to write my own story sort of exploring those ideas. Number three, what genre does your book fall under? So I write young adult fiction. I'm going to do a whole separate video on why I write YA fiction and how I got to that place. But this would fall under contemporary. So this is a contemporary YA. 4, which actors would you choose to play in your movie rendition? I'm gonna be really honest. I could not find any actors. I tend to not be able to find actors. I think part of it is I purposely try to come up with characters that I feel like are underrepresented in some ways or others. So it's just hard to think that. So I usually just try to find like either just like random people on the internet or sometimes models or stock photos or stuff like that. So I do have pictures of my characters, so I'm going to insert it here and sort of describe, show you some of the characters. That's a little exciting because I've never showed anyone these before except for my brother Kevin. So here are my characters. So this is my main character, Ivy. This is Locke, the main love interest. This is Chrissy, Ivy's best friend, well, becomes Ivy's best friend. This is DW, Chrissy's twin sister. This is Rama, which is DW's girlfriend. This is Bree, I guess like the mean girl. This is Prin, one of the mean girl's little friends. And Rachel, the other mean girl friend. And this is Javi, he's a football player, Locke's best friend, and Bree's boyfriend. Okay, so those were my characters. Not really any actors or actresses I feel like fairly represent that. Okay, so number 5, what is a one-sentence synopsis of your book? I actually think my husband did a really great, like so much better than I could, like, synopsis of my book. If you haven't seen the video where it, like, a writer's significant other tag, I'll link that up I'll link it up and you can watch that. But I'm trying to remember exactly what he said, because it's basically like, it's a book about how a young girl who has been through a very public trauma has to learn to get over it. Oh my God, that's literally the worst one sentence. I don't know. Ivy Eubanks is afraid of monsters. She knows they're real. I don't know. This is gonna make no one ever want to read my book ever. So please just pretend like you didn't hear that. It was all terrible. Okay, I don't know. I just was not prepared. I didn't look at these questions ahead of time. So, will your book be self-published or represented by an agency? Well, Lord, I hope it gets represented by an agency. I don't have an agent. My brother does. So, hello, brother. You might want to introduce me. I am not looking to self-publish right now. I have nothing against self-publishing, and I definitely think that it could be something that I considered in the future, but I'll be really honest, like, I really like the aspects of like traditional publishing. I know a lot of people do self-publishing because they don't like certain aspects. I like those aspects. It has just been my dream ever since I was a kid. I mean, there's no better feeling than walking into a Barnes & Noble and looking at the beautiful books. And I would just love to just have a book in Barnes & Noble. And I know that's probably a lot of people's dreams, but that's just what I want. That's the route I want to go. And I'm really like working hard to try to get traditionally published. So hopefully it would be represented by an agent, but who knows? Number 7, how long did it take you to write the first draft of your manuscript? Okay, so this is kind of like a weird question. I first started writing a different version of this book, very different. Main character was different, had a different name, looked different, just totally different in every way possible. I started writing that, I want to say it was like 2014, maybe like 2015. I wrote maybe like 30 or 28,000 words of it during the Nano that year. Didn't win, obviously. And then I didn't do anything again with it until last Nano. And I started over. I like replotted it, redid the character, whatever, and I got about 20,000 words of it. Didn't beat Nano again, and got 20,000 words of it. But then Camp Nano in April, I wrote the other 50,000 words to it. So a continuation of that version. So I would say really the version that I'm working with, it took me 2 months of fast drafting. One in November of last year and then April of this year. Number 8, what other books would you compare the story to? This is another one that's really hard for me. I'm not like so interesting that like no one's ever come up with this concept before. I just don't know. I just haven't read them. Like I can't, there's one book that's like maybe is similar, but I don't even want to say it because I hated it. I thought it was terrible and I wouldn't even want to use that as it, because like I feel like the premise is the same, but it was just done in such a terrible way that I just don't even want to, I can't go there. I'm not going to do it. So I just really can't. I've not read any that are that similar. I mean, maybe, okay, so maybe there's a Morgan Matson book. Oh my gosh, I can't think of the name of it right now. Where like her friend leaves her a list of like things she has to do. I know there's other books that do this as well, but this is the only one that I've read that does that. So I'm a little, there's a little element of that in this book. There is like a list of things to get done for a certain reason. So maybe I would compare it to that, but really in any sort of fundamental way, it's nothing like that. I don't know. Honestly, I can't like think of any, although it's not out or anything and I haven't even read it, so I don't know. But I do feel like when Kate Kavanaugh talks about her, is it Project Purple? I can't remember her colors. Oh Lord, her contemporary. I feel like there's some similarities. There's like national attention toward a thing and the person trying to like work through it and like what happened and like, so there's that aspect that would be similar, but I feel like that's probably the only thing that's similar about it. I don't know, maybe once you guys know what it is and you read it or something, you could tell me some books that are similar, but I just really don't know any. Like right off the top of my head. But I will say that it's like similar to many contemporaries in which it is like high school focused, dealing with like mean people and like your own insecurities. And so in that way, it's very similar to a lot of other books. Number 9, who or what inspired you to write the book? Did I already answer this? Where did the idea come from? Who or what inspired to write? I mean, I kind of already answered this. It's the like real people that something similar happened to. That's what inspired me to write it, I guess. I feel like that's kind of the same question. All right, number 10, what else about your book might pique the reader's interest? Well, I did a thing on my Twitter where it was like 5 things that you could find in my work in progress. And so what did I say in that? That I felt like those would like pique your interest. Well, I do deal with PTSD in my book, because she is, you know, dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder. There are, Loch Ness Monster comes up in my book. Haggis Nachos comes up in my book. Special effects makeup comes up in my book. And then there's something that's like really kind of big, but I don't want to give that away yet. And that might be interesting. So I don't know. Olivia Newton-John comes up in my book. So I don't know. Do any of those things intrigue you? Comment down below. Probably not. I'm not good at selling my book, you guys. Oh, I wonder if this will hinder me in the future. I promise it's better than how I'm making it sound. But yeah, so I don't know. I probably shouldn't have made this. Maybe this is why no one tagged me in it, because they knew I was gonna shoot myself in the foot, because I feel like that just made my video sound, or this just made my book sound like terrible. I'm the worst at selling myself. This is something I need to work on. All right, guys. Well, hopefully you enjoyed learning basically nothing about my book. The only thing you probably learned from this is that I'm terrible at selling my ideas. So I don't know, hopefully you got a good laugh at me at the very least. So I'm not gonna tag anyone in this because nobody tagged me, but if you feel like doing it, consider yourself tagged and you can just shout me out in the video. I would appreciate it. Guys, thanks so much as always for watching. Please be sure to give me a pity like, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!